What's up, family? So basically, there's been a shooting. I've been seeing this clip all over the place, Instagram, YouTube, you name it, of this ring camera footage that caught it all because literally there was multiple people pulling out guns and letting it off like it was a scene of Call of Duty, or I should say the game of Call of Duty, except this ain't a game. This real. There's no respawn. You can't come back from this, let alone three individuals died. But what they call them nowadays, they call them YNs, right? So obviously you got these kids that obviously doing things, being from the hood for street cred. So obviously I have witnessed growing up where I have friends who obviously wanted to be in the streets, so they feel like the simple fact is to be even acknowledged. Because let's be honest, this all goes back to the household, right? Most likely no father figure. They statistic wise, they say that when you don't have a father figure, you're more prone to, act out in violence. You're more prone to not graduate college, and you just be a total, it'd be a total, you're just a total fireball of destruction, ready to pop off, just like this scene we about to see in a minute. So what I'm saying is, me having friends that I eventually cut off, me being wise and actually having common sense and actually, you know, was raised by grandparents and my mom and dad that, wrong is wrong, is right, and always had to be in before the street lights came on. But obviously, these are young individuals, YNs, they like to call them on social media, lost, trying to prove themselves because at the end of the day, the validation they're seeking is most likely the attention or principles or characteristics or values that haven't been poured into them from growing up. So now they're just lost souls taking other souls. But anyway, let's check it
Were
out.
killed and 9 others were hurt in a mass shooting in the Grays Ferry section of Philadelphia. This shooting, just one incident over a very violent weekend in the city. Action News reporter Jessica Cartalia is live with more. And Jessica, you have new video showing the terrifying moments multiple people opened fire.
Now, Sarah, video is incredibly difficult to watch. It's just hard to fathom that something like that could happen. Meanwhile, many of the victims of that shooting were brought here to Penn Presbyterian Hospital, where they are still being treated. Ring camera footage is now part of a
My man spraying like crazy.
police investigation into a gunfight early this morning.
And they on the floor like roaches. Like, I don't even know how you gonna be able to take cover when you got the gunman right in front of you using y'all for cover. So
Morning in Grays Ferry.
look, you got one on the other. You got one. Obviously, the houses are connected. So you got one bull on the right. All he got to do is hop over the banister. He on the other side while all these people scrambling, scraping on the ground.
Hazardous waste crews scrub blood
Man, this is crazy.
from the sidewalk just hours after that mass shooting.
There is a lot of video circulating online. It's pretty much a horrific scene.
Police say a gunfight erupted just before 1 o'clock this morning on the 1500 block of South Edding Street in Grays Ferry. After making several arrests over the weekend, police were monitoring reports of large gatherings and loud music. They were in the process of responding to a nearby call when they heard the gunfire. When they arrived on scene, they found a dozen shooting victims ranging in age from 15 to 24.
Almost 140 pieces of ballistic evidence has been recovered. We definitely believe, based on our observation, a gun with a switch was involved.
There was so much evidence at the scene. In addition to yellow markers, police wrote numbers by hand.
It's past frustrating.
Tyreek Glasgow is executive director of the Young Chances Foundation, a youth center in Grays Ferry working to end violence and provide opportunities for young men. He knows many of the victims in this morning's shooting.
They are working to get jobs, going to vocational school and doing those things. So to have their lives stop, for gun violence is something that is frustrating and painful.
Glasgow, who grew up in South Philly, says residents are left to clean up the blood and remnants of this morning's shooting.
Hold on, bro. Bro, you can't. I'm looking for the clip so we can see the video in its entirety. But you can't help monsters. They monsters, bro. Like, they're gonna destroy. They're gonna act out. They're gonna do the whole thing. And I'm not saying, look, man, it's hard when they in flocks. Once you hear large gatherings, what you really gonna do? They all hypnotized to have the same intent. You can't talk to a young person that's already trying to prove something from a violent criminal intent, and you think you're going to sit there and say they were looking for jobs and vocationals and stuff. If that was the case, they wouldn't have been in large gatherings. Now, I get my boy, he trying to sit here and do something positive for the community, but the community is a wreck. And it all boils down to the parents or what the parents had, because the large gathering shouldn't happening. But 9 times out of 10 in the hood, this is normal. Gunshots is like fireworks. It's no difference. It's just like a celebration, and whoever passed away or get hit. Unfortunately, it's just normal, right? So at the end of the day, you can't, as much as you try to, what happens when a person be successful? Usually they don't ever go back to the hood they come from, right? Because obviously it's destroyed. What are you going to do? They're going to take you down with them. They're monsters. So at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. And I get what he's trying to do, but it be innocent people that always get hit and die, unfortunately, due to people ignorance. And there's always the criminal that lives. I don't know why it's like that. That's the more heart gushing, infuriating thing that pisses me off, to be honest. So I'm trying to get this other clip, so I'm gonna let this finish playing out.
Shooting as city workers remain on strike.
Want to come together and clean it up, but the blood, the trash, even the food, the activities that we're supposed to have today for our summer camp, we had to put on pause today.
Police say they transported 8 of the 12 victims to the hospital. 2 of the victims were juveniles. They are expected to be okay. And police are still working to determine what was behind this shooting here at Presby. They said that many people showed up after that shooting, including those police officers, to make sure that things stayed calm. We're live at Penn Presbyterian Hospital. Jessica Cartalia, Channel 6, Action News.
Yeah, that video just surreal.
About to show y'all the video right now, and this joint crazy. Not to mention they on a trash strike, so you got rodent, you got the whole 9 going on. And that's what brings me to my point. Cause I'm about to bring up this about to share my screen. Right? So look, this is what really boils me, right? Because now let's talk about Mayor Cherelle Parker, since they wanted to mention this trash strike, shall we? Because the simple fact is, this was supposed to be the first woman mayor, right? A new vision for Philly. Restoration of order. Yeah, where's the order? I'll wait. Because if you want to call it what it is, it's a complete leadership failure all the way around. And she over here touting while they on strike. The waste management individuals or the trash workers for the city, they on strike because they want more money. But at the end of the day, she over here talking about how she will not put the physical budget in jeopardy. But the problem is, you've been spending this money like it's yours when it's taxpayer dollars, like it was nothing anyway. That's why you in this deficit, that's why you close to this deficit and being in the negative. That's why you over here talking about you not gonna put it in jeopardy, because it's already prone to be in jeopardy in the damn first place. So that's like if I got $10 left and I say, I'm not about to pay a fare to get on that ride at the carnival, when obviously I already knew, being at the carnival, I was already in the negative when it came to me not being able to afford to really get on the rides in the first place. But then I'm over here touting that I'm going to go to the carnival and have a good time. It don't make no damn sense. So it's a leadership failure over there. Cherelle's campaign was heavy on promises: safe streets, gun violence prevention, police accountability, jobs for the youth. But when bullets fly and babies die, what we get? We got the police, the sheriff, press release, empty words, and thoughts and prayers, right? But Cherelle, you can't tweet your way out of a war zone. So this ain't about no vibes, hope, and representation. This is about bodies dropping every weekend, and her administration is still acting like the summer of violence is just a blip on the radar. Because newsflash is not a blip. It's the status quo. You know what leadership looks like? It looks like being on the ground with those families. It looks like emergency action, like restoring sanitation services, even if the union's on strike. It's like it looks like funding grassroots. I'm not even gonna say grassroots. It looks like funding. See, look, I'm gonna break it down to simplistic terms from a child life perspective. You gotta have good infrastructure, meaning good roads, good schools, safety, and you need to have a sanitary city, obviously. So if your city is not sanitary, nobody want to come there. You had an opioid crisis. Now it's not sanitary. Follows up with that. Now you got rodents. You got YNs over here wilding out, taking each other's lives. There's a war zone out there. Streets is horrible. I mean, you can't make this up, man. So what was she really saying she was going to do and how she was really going to do it? Right? Because you got generational poverty out there. You got underfunded schools. And you got easy access to illegal guns. You got, it's just hopes are all lost out there, man. So, I mean, where do we go from here? I just feel like individuals in the city of Philadelphia, they need to demand more from their city officials, from their community leaders, and yes, from themselves as well. And this ain't about no gun control or police funding. It's about restoring humanity to neighborhoods where death has become a routine and holding these parents accountable because these kids shouldn't be out there that late anyway in some large gathering. Just common sense, right? So they need to get down. They need to crack down on these illegal guns, and they need to do some work, man. Philly, they gotta wake up, man. You gotta do better than this. You gotta do better than this. It's happening in Kensington, North Philly, Southwest, West Oakland, 100 cities across the damn. Look, man. Look, it's just wild to me. And the mind blowing is me doing a little research. Why is the physical budget the mayor is talking about in jeopardy? Let me look up something real quick. I want to know something because the problem is she proposed a $6.29 billion physical budget for 2025, which was supposed to go into effect July 1st, 2025. That didn't happen. The city missed the deadline to pass the spending bills, leaving the city without an authorized or operating budget. So the city is basically flying blind financially, and I'm not surprised. That's mostly what these Democratic cities be doing. And at the end of the day, when it comes to these city services, they are basically operating on temporary funding because the full budget wasn't passed. So departments only have limited cash to keep operations running for a short period of time. And we talking about emergency patches, no long-term planning, right? Just cover-ups. That's why city workers are on strike. Trash ain't being picked up, and there's no emergency funding for extra police patrols to be on the ground. And that's just what it is. So the mayor don't have no full physical authority right now, which means she can't fully fund any of her big promises. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. That's why she mentioned that she don't care if she's a 1-year city mayor. She's trash. She's been trash. So at the end of the day, individuals who don't know how to budget or handle or manage funds, I don't know why y'all brought her in office. So y'all need to vote better. Y'all need to do better. And that's just point blank period. But I'm gonna leave it there. Let me know you guys' thoughts down in the comments below. Actually, wait, because she done pissed me off. I'm trying to close the video out. Actually, just look at this clip. And I'm in the video. There's a gunman really like ducking behind the side of the wall. And I'm still going.
This morning in the Grays Ferry
Mind blowing to me, man.
section of South Philadelphia left 3 people dead and 10 others injured. CBS News Philadelphia reporter Nikki DeBench.
Anyway, family, let me know you guys' thoughts down in the comments below, man. That city is crazy. Peace.